Good evening, everyone. I am Georgette Harrison, the Deputy Director of the Process Improvement SIG. And tonight we are bringing you an interview with Perry Walker for our monthly spotlight for the month of December for Lean Six Sigma. So, Perry, if you could please introduce yourself and give us your name, position, company, and the current industry that you work within.
Sure. I'm Perry Walker. I'm currently, as far as my NSBE role, as the technical advisor to the Process Improvement Specialist Group. I'm, from a career standpoint, I'm the global director of Lean Six Sigma with Continental Tire and Rubber Company.
Thank you for the introduction, Perry. So, one question we asked you this evening is, how did you get into your line of work?
Well, uh, I guess it goes back to, when I was in high school, I was planning to be a lawyer. But then after my PSAT scores came back with all these really high scores in math, uh, I got all these letters from all these institutes of technology talking about me wanting to go there and going in engineering. So I ended up going to Caltech, becoming a chemical engineer. I went to grad school as a chemical engineer, and I also got an internship with DuPont right out of high school. So at the age of 16, I was actually working at a nuclear plant that DuPont was running. So I got introduced to the engineering career early on, and then just progressed for the next 20 something years up the corporate ladder with DuPont and got involved in a lot of different things, including ultimately getting involved with Six Sigma. And that's kind of been the launching pad for kind of the second half of my career, where I focused a lot on Lean Six Sigma and process improvement.
So, what lessons have you learned along the way, whether they be related to NSBE and or your professional career?
Well, I learned a lot of lessons, and I think really the lessons that I learned was, or the main lessons that I learned was to apply the training and guidance and things that I learned along the way. And by applying those things, they kind of became part of my working nature. Like, for instance, I read Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And there were, some of those principles like begin with the end in mind and seek first to understand and then to be understood. So not just reading the book, I actually tried to apply those principles and things that I did. In my NSBE life, I've been to 37 national conventions now. And so I've been to a lot of different workshops, and I always try to take something away from workshops and see how do I apply these things. DuPont sent me to a lot of different training courses and things. So I always try to see how can I use this material and apply it to situations and to my career. So I guess the main lessons that I learned was, as I was being taught things or as I learned things, was not just to say that I learned it, but to actually then figure out how to apply it. And that's been the thing that's enabled me to have an impact, and it's been very instrumental in my career.
So, also, as you mentioned, you've been to 37 conventions and you've been an active member for a long time. How has NSBE also helped you with your career?
Um, in a lot of different ways. One, it helped me to in develop a lot personally. I was able to, as I mentioned earlier, I try to apply learning. So I was able to apply a lot of the things that I was learning about being a leader and working with people. So I was able to apply that in the various NSBE forums that I was involved with. I've had a lot of NSBE leadership roles over the years. Um, Also, the biggest thing has been just the people connections. I make it a point to always put the NSBE conference on my calendar, and then everything else gets planned around it, because it's an opportunity for me to see many people that I've met over the years, and keeping those people relationships has been incredibly important. And it's also brought me a great sense of satisfaction. I've been involved in what I think are some very significant things over the years within NSBE, including the development of the alumni extension. So it's, like I said, the the opportunity to apply things, apply learnings, to get better at leadership and things, the relationships with people, and to be part of some things that, you know, I can cherish and be proud of.
What do you consider to be your greatest strength and opportunity?
I think my greatest strength is probably my ability to both think strategically, but then to also be able to kind of break that down into what do strategies mean for for everyone else, and how do you then apply it? Because a lot of people are considered as visionaries, and you have a lot of people that are tactical, meaning that they can do a bunch of things, but a lot of times there's a disconnect between, okay, I see this vision, but what does it actually mean for me? And I think one of my strengths has always been kind of breaking down these concepts and what might be complex theories and things to make them understandable and practical for everyday people. I do that today with Six Sigma. You know, I teach, do a lot of training in Six Sigma, and sometimes it can be very complex statistical type things, but I teach it in a way that everybody can kind of understand the concepts and things. So I think my big strength is that ability to be able to translate things to help people understand things, and then to then know themselves how to then apply it.
Great answer, Perry. Two more questions. If you would give yourself any advice about your line of work, what would it be?
Well, right now it's find a way to retire. I mean, I've I've been at this a long time, and really, I kind of approached my career from the bottom up. So I kind of looked at, you know, the stepping stones up the corporate ladder, and I worked my career kind of in that direction. In hindsight, I really should have been focused more on what is really kind of the end game, and then what do I need to do from a career standpoint to get there? Because now I've been working a long time, I've accomplished a lot, and now I need to figure out, okay, where and when do I stop? So, you know, I've done enough things in my career to be proud of, but now I need to figure out how do I uh, transition into something where I can continue to achieve and accomplish things, but not necessarily be tied to a like a corporate life, or, you know, or that the standard type of career. But, you know, I
Okay.
still want to be able to deliver those accomplishments, to be able to teach others and bring them along, and be able to do that. So, you know, NSBE provides a tremendous opportunity for that. So, you know, I'm very glad to be a part of the organization and look forward to, you know, continuing my interaction, my association with NSBE for, you know, I'm a lifetime member, and it's a lifetime thing for me.
Yeah. And then my last question for you today is, what is your feedback or advice to the next generation?
Um, a couple of things. One is, and I'll tie it together with kind of the essence of the process improvement special interest group. Um, I think what's very important is for people to understand what their value proposition is and what they bring to the table. And, you know, we used to talk about our experience, and we used to sell our experience. Now it's more important for us to focus on what's our expertise and what is it that we bring to the table that is unique, or what's value adding. So for the next generation, I encourage people to kind of find yourself, find where you add value. You know, what is your brand? Develop that, and develop an area or areas of expertise, and then use that expertise to have a positive impact, whether it's, you know, in the workplace, whether it's in society. The other thing is I caution the next generation about not losing connections with people. because we have become a very technically oriented world and society to the point where we are now replacing human interactions with technology. I've got a 24-year-old son, and I remember as he was growing up, he was communicating by way of texting and things, in contrast to calling people on the phone. And 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 I just think that the more we move towards electronic means of interaction in contrast to interpersonal connections, I think we really lose a critical part of humanity that we can't afford to lose, and and then we fail to continue to recognize the importance of people and life in general. So the biggest thing and recommendation for the next generation is, don't lose the connection to people while you find yourself and establish, what's your niche in life and what's your area of expertise? What do you bring to the table? For me, I always give my tagline that I'm a solution looking for a problem. And I've kind of, lived my life and career that way, where I look for things and opportunities to make things better, or I look for problems that I can solve. And that's kind of where my sweet spot has been. And I just encourage others to find out what is it that you bring to the table, and that where you add value and where you can make contributions that positively impact the world.
Thank you, Perry. And that piece about interpersonal skills is, very important, especially now that we are all remote, due to COVID. We still have to interact, but those soft skills, even virtually, are still important for everyone to learn, because I'm pretty sure we will be working remote or doing things remotely probably longer than planned. And that's still a way to make sure that we're, building and keeping a connection, not just, during COVID, but beyond COVID as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So that concludes our interview for today. And thank you, Perry Walker, for your time. And we
Well,
are again the PI SIG for the we are the process improvement SIG for the National Society of Black Engineers.
well, thank you very much.
Thank you.